Hello, fossil lovers. Check this out. I believe this is fossilized coral. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it is. You can see all those fine grain-like features in there, striations as I call them. I believe that is the result of fossilization of coral. I found this while I was out rock hunting recently along the Blanco River near Austin, Texas. And I thought, let's do something fun with this. If this is in fact fossilized coral, then I think we can make a beautiful cab out of it. So let me do this. Let me get this mounted on the slab saw somehow. I'm not sure if I'm going to slab this way, slab this way, I don't know, slab that way. Get it slabbed somehow. Take one of those slabs and try to make it into a beautiful cabochon. How's that sound? I'll go ahead and get this started in the shop and we'll see how it goes. As you can see, I've got the big stone mounted in the vise. Have it moved over to make our first slice, and then we'll get a couple of slabs. Okay, I got a nice slab from our piece of, I'm going to do air quotes right here, fossilized coral. I'm not 100% sure this is fossilized coral. I sliced it in two different directions to see if I could get something that goes with the grain and against the grain, but they both looked about the same. And then I tested it for hardness, and it seems like it's soft, closer to a limestone. So I'm not sure we're going to get anything good out of this, but there is something going on right in here. It almost looks like a fossil within this, again, air quotes, fossil. So what I'm going to do is put an oval around here and try to cab that, maybe bring out some of this, what appears to be chalcedony. Not much on the other side. So let's try that, see what happens. Let me get this thing lined up with the template and we'll get an oval drawn on it. How does that look? I like that. I think that's going to look good. Let's go ahead and get that traced out. Okay, there you go. That's going to be our cabochon from our maybe fossilized coral. See, I got it pretty close right there, but I think we'll be okay. So let me take this to the trim saw, get this cut out, get it trimmed nicely, then we'll get it dopped and get started with our cabochon. As I started trimming this, I noticed that it is very, very soft. As you can see, it's almost like a hot knife cutting through butter. And okay, it makes the trimming very easy, but it's also a bad sign because that means that the stone is just too soft. But I continue on. I go ahead and trim it all the way down to the edge. I like to do it that way so that it saves time on the next step. So here's where I like to take it to the, in this case, 220 grit wheel and fine-tune that oval shape. Try to match it up with the line that I traced on there. Make a nice oval out of this thing. Let's see, how did I do? Okay, that looks pretty much like an oval. That's not bad. Next step will be to dry it off and get it on a dop stick. All right, now that it's dopped, let's start the cab making. Here's the 80 grit wheel, and as you can see, it just burns through the stone very quickly. There's the shape. Looks okay at this point. It's got a decent little dome and the girdle looks okay. Let's jump to the 220. It still burns through pretty quickly, even at 220. Looks like my shape's getting a little oblong. All right, let's jump to the 280. And I'm pushing in on this one, which is probably a mistake because it's very aggressive, and now my shape is getting even more oblong. Still no shine. Let's try the 600 grit. What will that do for us? Let's see. Still burning away some. That's after 600 grit and still no shine. Not a good sign. All right, maybe the 1200 grit will get us to shine. Let's see. Okay, after 1200 grit, some sections have a little bit of a shine. You can see it in there. It's not great, but at least it's giving us something. Let's see what the 3000 grit will do for us. Well, there's a little bit of a shine on it now in sections, It's still pretty awful looking, and I've obviously lost the shape. As you can see, it got away from me. Let's try to get it a little shinier by using Zam on this buffing wheel. I tried this with turquoise recently, and it really brought the shine out. Let's see what it does with this, which is obviously limestone. Yeah, that looks okay, I guess, for limestone. It's got a nice shine on it, almost an artificial looking shine. Let's take it inside and take a closer look. The fossilized coral cabochon is complete. Oof. What do you think? Not very good, I'm afraid. This is really just some limestone with some, that's probably a fossil right there. I don't think it was actually fossilized coral. It might have been, maybe limestone is what it becomes. I don't know, I guess a geologist would know. Either way, it was way too soft to try to turn into a cab. As you can see, it got away from me in the shape. Well, it is what it is. It's not an oval anymore, it's, I don't know what you'd call that shape, just oblong. I think that is a fossil right there, maybe a turritella. It's probably what that is that I happened to capture when I slabbed this thing. The Zam made it a little shinier, but even the shine's pretty awful, so there you go. That's my fossilized coral cabochon. Thank you so much for watching. I'm sorry this one's a bit of a dud. I'll do better next time, I promise. Please check my other videos for more like this. Thanks again.